We bring you the latest updates from the Pna Newsroom. Malacanang ensures that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is closely monitoring the country's currency movements. In a palace briefing, Press Secretary Trixie Cruz Angeles said President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is in constant touch with the country's economic managers amid the continued depreciation of the Philippine peso against the US dollar. To date, the Philippine peso is trading at the 58 level against the US dollar from the 51 level at the start of the year. Due to the impact of the global economic slowdown, the International Monetary Fund slashed its 2022 growth forecast for the Philippines from 6.7% to 6.5%, while its growth forecast for next year is at 5%. Marcos's economic team also lowered its growth expectations for 2022 from 7.5% to 6.5%.
Economic managers forecast a higher growth, so they are in a much better position to make that determination in that forecast. Our fundamentals are strong, the economy is in a good resurgence, and we are experiencing a good rate of growth right now. So we will have to see in the end whether that forecast is going to be more accurate than the local forecasts.
Several initiatives that would upgrade the skills of the Filipino workers were discussed during the 9th cabinet meeting in Malacanang. Press Secretary Trixie Cruz Angeles said the government aims to promote a competitive workforce to fulfill its goal of transforming the Philippine economy. Cruz Angeles said several reforms were presented during the meeting that would further strengthen the human capital development of the country. The president, during his visit to New York, stressed the importance of honing student skills to make them ready to enter the workforce.
Sa cabinet meeting naman po, ang aming na-discuss tungo dun sa economic transformation agenda ng ating Pangulo ay yung mga sumusunod. Una, efforts to ensure compliance with standards of training, certification, and watchkeeping, STCW. Ito po ay diniscuss ng Marina, CHED at Department of Migrant Workers. Tungo pa dito, ang DOLE naman at TESDA at CHED ay nag-discuss ng pag-upgrade ng skills of the Filipino workforce. Bahagi ito dun sa economic transformation program ng ating Pangulo, kasama po doon yung educational aspect at isa po ito dun sa aspeto na yon. So both vocational skills training and expanding the skills of our workforce is part of the economic transformation of the President.
Meanwhile, for international law expert and former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, the recent New York trip of President Bongbong Marcos shows the improving relationship between the Philippines and the United States of America. This as Roque acknowledged the strained relationship between the two countries under the previous administration. Roque said that by going to the United States, President Marcos achieved immunity from suit, which sends the message that America wants to continue our traditional friendship. It also established the country's stance of being a friend to all and also served as an opportunity for the president to establish his own name in the international space. Roque said the visit also served as a platform for the new administration to push for measures that would mitigate the effects of climate change, being the greatest threat that is affecting the world. He also lauds the president for inviting American businessmen to invest in the country as the United States remains on the top spot in terms of economic superpower. The Commission on Appointments has endorsed the appointment of Conrado Estrella III to the Department of Agrarian Reform and Maria Antonia Yulo Loyzaga to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR. The recommendation was made after Senator J.V. Ejercito moved for the endorsement of Estrella's appointment as Secretary to the CA plenary. During the CA panel hearing, Estrella said he has no objections to land conversations as long as the land area in question is not irrigated. This position is consistent with President Bongbong Marcos's order not to convert lands that are irrigated or irrigable. A CA panel also approved and endorsed the appointment of Maria Antonia Yulo Loyzaga as DENR Secretary. CA Chairperson and Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri moved to approve the appointment of Loyzaga. Loyzaga presented before the panel her positions on small-scale mining, open-pit mining, and the issue on the Masungi Geo Reserve, and answered queries about her inheritance of 34 business entities. Zubiri vouched for her integrity as part of one of the country's richest clans. The Philippine National Police reports an increase in the number of kidnapping cases involving POGOs, or Philippine offshore gaming operators, this year compared to last year. The PNP anti-kidnapping group said a total of 17 POGO-related kidnapping cases were reported from January to September this year, compared to 12 incidents for the whole of 2021. However, the number of total kidnapping cases this year is still lower at 31 than the 36 cases reported in 2021. PNP Chief General Rodolfo Azorin Jr. said the crackdown on POGOs linked to illegal activities is part of the government's efforts to preserve the country's safe business climate. He said the POGOs have agreed to comply with the clearances from both the PNP and the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, as part of the requirements for working in the country. POGOs will also be required to present proof that their workers are not wanted for criminal offenses in their respective countries. And those are the latest and the biggest stories from the PNA Newsroom. I am William Theo. Good evening and stay safe, everyone.